ready.
Okay. It is 7:15. We'll call our special work session of Little Falls City Council for July 20th, 2020 to order. We do have a quorum. We are all here. The public forum is temporarily suspended. Bill discussion. Does anyone have any questions with the bills?
$240 for cotter pins seems like a lot of cotter pins.
It was a lot of cotter pins, like a whole container of various sizes of cotter pins.
Any other questions? Consent agenda item discussion. Anything that's on the consent agenda, questions for?
Mr. President, were we gonna add on to the agenda somewhere that letter from Jackie Devine about the Riverwood AK 4K run in August?
I don't remember it being on here. John, do we need to do that, or has it already been approved?
I'm not sure. I will get it up here.
I know when I read it, it said that it would be brought up at the council meeting tonight or something for discussion or whatever. I don't know. I just want to make sure we're not missing something.
The message was just looked like it was just providing additional information for the discussion tonight. I was assuming it was on the agenda.
I don't see it anywhere on the agenda, though.
Yeah, I think that needs to be added to the
She's, did she submit a request, a permit?
I don't know, it was just an email that I read about hoping that they can continue that run in August with the safety measures that they've taken or put into place.
I think it was just an email that came this afternoon after, this afternoon. It just came in today, so I don't know if it's supposed to be on the agenda, if it was just an FYI, or what the deal was with it.
Or do we have to approve that, to approve the run itself?
She sent it today at 2:37 and it says, "Lady and gentlemen, Ms. Devine," Wendy sent it, that I forwarded on her request that is on the city council's agenda for tonight regarding the River Rat Run.
Oh, I don't remember seeing it on the agenda.
It wasn't, I didn't.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's not on the consent agenda for sure. Is this something we already approved and now we're getting closer to it?
I was wondering.
I think Mike was correct. If I remember correctly, I thought we had voted on this before, and she might just be sending an update on how they're gonna do it come August.
I'm looking at older agendas to see if I can find it. What is the date of the event, please?
I don't think it said.
It's at August.
No, it says August. No date.
Well, it's another request to have it, so we can't actually vote on anything. So I would just suggest just bypassing it, reading the email and moving on.
Council informational only items. Mosquito control request. Greg.
Good evening. So after our June 29th rain event, you recall roughly a week later, we started seeing quite a bit of mosquitoes throughout the city of Little Falls, both parks and whatnot. and we've had requests from residents, probably a dozen to 2 dozen folks call and request mosquito control throughout the city, not just particular to the parks, but throughout the city. So I wanted to talk to the council and just kind of get your input, what your feeling is in regards to that.
Mosquitoes going to stay here, you know, there's different types of mosquitoes and some just last 2 or 3 weeks. We could be spraying and not accomplishing anything.
What's the cost of the spraying?
That's a question.
That'd be another factor.
I don't have those numbers. I can definitely get that to you, and so that we, have that information for future reference, but I don't know right now.
What I want to know is if the spray is going to kill any tadpoles.
I will find out as well.
I think they do in both Randall and Piers, don't they?
Kill
I know Pierce
tadpoles.
does, I don't know about Randall.
They mentioned
Is that something that we would be doing in-house, or is that something that would be contracted out?
Depending if there's specialized equipment that we would need, we would look at both options to see which is more cost effective.
Hey, Greg,
Yep.
I would recommend getting in touch with range control at Camp Ripley and asking what they use. They do a lot of spraying. It works, and I know it's safe. I mean, the stuff they have, they spray it where people are serving food, not while serving food, but in between serving times, and I mean, it works really well. But I know the system they have, it would be additional equipment. There'd be no doubt in my mind on that. It's a specialized sprayer.
Okay.
Information filing for city council seats opens July 28th, 2020 at 8 a.m. Any other informational items?
I just got a text from Jackie. And she said that the date of the run is the 22nd of August.
Wendy, he already has it down for the agenda for August 3rd.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Anyone have any constituent messages?
Yes, I do. Been getting a lot of reports that motorcycles and four-wheelers are running up and down on the bicycle trail. A lot of the people who live along that trail are kind of upset about it. They'd like to see something done. And Greg, did you mow that parcel in front of Dollar General?
We did not mow it, no. We sent out a letter.
You know, this has been over 6 weeks since I got the first reports, and you know, when you pull up to that intersection coming off Bay, there's blind spots because the weeds are so high, you can't see some of the cars coming, you know, into town. So it's not only a violation, it's also a safety hazard, so how long are we gonna wait?
They did half of it. Greg, you're on mute.
He doesn't wanna talk to me.
No, that's not the case. So tomorrow is when we're actually gonna go out. We sent out letters roughly a week ago on the 10th is when we sent it out. But we give them 5 days to mow the lawn, and then we go out, review it, and then we hire somebody to mow it. So tomorrow's when
They cut half of it, right, Greg?
they have, yes.
Yeah.
They cut their own personal area where the store is, which it wouldn't have took a whole lot more just to continue. It might have took 15 minutes longer. I don't know why they just didn't mow the whole thing. But it's that other half that's the part everyone's upset about.
Okay.
He's already heard about that.
Thank you for taking care of it tomorrow.
I've had continuous complaints on something that we are not in charge of, a certain cemetery. They continue to come in. And also, I've had complaints on the residents that we've been dealing with for, I don't know, a year or so. And I drove by there today, there was like 9 vehicles in the yard, and it looks like he had a moving sale, and it was moving everything back. So we may want to check that again.
Mayor, I think Greg is coming back, but there he is. Hopefully he can give you the update on the property. I know we did go ahead and get a warrant for that one.
Yeah, so we did receive a warrant for it last Tuesday, I think it was. And we went over, visited the site. At that point, he had most of it cleaned up, and so we gave him another couple more days to finish that. And we've just been keeping an eye on it to see if it continues to get worse or if it's getting better. So we do have some time left on that warrant if we need to go in and clean it up. But it has looked considerably better than it did in the past, but I've noticed he's also bringing stuff in.
Yeah, it's not better today when I go by.
And the old Doc's Auto place is not getting better either.
I know Darren sent a letter to the owner there, and he'll be following up on that as well. So we are looking at one, and a couple other ones that have similar situations.
Is there anything else? If not, we'll adjourn until our 7:30 meeting.
Mr. President, I have one question.
Okay, go ahead.
On Laborge Park, I was under the understanding that they were gonna be putting in a disc golf course over there. Is there a follow-up on that at all, when that might get started?
So we do have the baskets for disc golf. We've been trying to work with Wabash in terms of the placement of those golfs because we'd like to use some of their property for that usage. The president of Wabash has given the approval, but it's on the attorney's desk. And that's kind of where it sits until the attorney says that we can go ahead and do that or come to some sort of agreement of liability on it. So we do have the baskets, we're ready to put them in, we're just looking for the green light from them. We may end up doing, the ones in Laborge Park and then wait on the ones in Wabash, but we're in the process of getting through that process.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We will adjourn for a couple minutes. Still muted.
There we go.
Are we recording?
Yes, we're ready to go.
All right. 7:30, or July 20th, 2020, Little Falls City Council meeting to order. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All individuals are asked to either silence or turn off all cell phones, pagers, and other electronic devices that may disrupt the meeting. Approval of the agenda. Approve the agenda as posted in accordance with the open meeting law and herein place all agenda items on the table for discussion. What is the wish of the council?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Knopfler, second by Councilmember Goshen. Call a roll, please.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes,
Zilka,
Yes.
Hurkak,
Yes?
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
carries.
Approval of the minutes. The special work session meeting of July 6, 2020, the regular meeting of July 6, 2020, and the closed meeting of July 6, 2020. Approved. What's the wish of the council?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Liljegren, second by Councilmember Storley. Call a roll, please.
Council President?
Yes.
On item 7B, number 1 and 2, the lettings for the Toro and the surface improvements, it says I voted yes for item 1 and no for item 2, but it was the other way around. I voted no for 7B1 and I voted yes for 7B2.
You will get that corrected, thank you.
Thank you.
Call a roll, please.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes,
Zilka,
Yes.
Hurkak,
Yes?
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
carries.
Approval of the bills, checks 102,948 through 103,046, totaling $292,937.52. Approved. What is the wish of the council?
Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Storley, second by Councilmember Knopfler. Any discussion? Call a roll, please.
Lundberg,
yes,
Zilka,
Yes.
Hurkak,
Yes?
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
carries.
Awards, donations, presentations, and proclamations. We have none. Consent agenda. Animal control report, June 2020 received. Application for exempt permit raffle, Morrison County Ducks Unlimited approved. Fire report, June 2020 received. Morrison County Attorney's prosecution report, May and June 2020 received. Music in the Park, Little Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau, August 20th, 2020 approved. Planning Commission minutes, July 2020 received. Police report, June 2020 received. Public Works report, June 2020 received. Recycling report, May 2020 received. Resignation, Brett Kajowski, lead clubhouse attendant, golf, accept. Wastewater report, June 2020 received. Water report, June 2020 received. What is the wish of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Not sure who the second was.
I second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Goshek, second by Councilmember Storley. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Zilka,
Yes.
Hurkak,
Yes.
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Wishick,
Yes.
Knafola,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg.
Yes.
Carries.
Public hearings and lettings. Lettings, workstation from Staples for the police department. Authorize and approve. Chief.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. Tonight, I am requesting authorization to purchase a double workstation that will be placed in the sergeant's office. Currently, there's a single desk in that office, and this would create an additional workspace. I'm trying to maximize the space and get as creative as I can to make sure everyone has a workspace within the building. And it's been challenging, and we've been trying to think outside the box, and this was our best solution to create more workspace here. The funds are available in the police department budget for 2020, and this is also under the Staples or Sourcewell pricing contract that the city has with Sourcewell Staples.
Thank you. What is the wish of the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Storley, second by Councilmember Lundberg. Any discussion?
I have one really quick, Mr. President. I'm looking at the agenda item actually on the page, not the agenda, and it's budgeted, and at this amount, I'm just wondering what's the chief's discretionary spending if it's budgeted?
Generally, it's $1,000. I have to go to the city administrator and then whatever his threshold is. So,
And
go ahead.
yeah, with the, you know, with us holding back on spending, up until this point, we wanted to be sure we had enough funds coming in from our first half tax settlement, which did actually showed a very positive result. We still could see a shortfall in the revenue collected for the second half, but we are feeling very confident. So we had been holding off on capital improvements, so I just wanted to be sure that as we move forward, that capital improvement items like this that we were holding back on, that the council had known that we were going to start moving forward with these and seeking approval to get them done.
Fair enough, thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Hurkak,
Yes?
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Wishick,
Yes.
Knafola,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes.
Zilka. Zilka?
Yes.
Okay, carries.
Old business, we have none. New business, interview panel recommendations, fire department personnel. Chief.
Good evening, Council President and council members. This is a follow-up to the request I made when I came before you back in May and June to fill the open captain positions and the assistant chief position. We conducted interviews, Mayor Zilka, Assistant Chief Tabbitt, and myself on 2 different dates. We are recommending that we appoint Dwayne Doble to the assistant chief position, and he was currently a captain, so we are going to need to fill that additional captain position. So we are recommending that we appoint Brent Ambiel, Brian Flav, Scott McKissick, and Andrew LeBlanc to the open captain positions.
So I think we'll do these one at a time. Item 1 is to appoint Dwayne Doble, paid on-call assistant fire chief. Accept and appoint.
So moved.
Second.
I missed the second. Sorry, who was that?
Raquel.
Thank you. I heard more than one voice. Motion by Mayor Zilka, second by Councilmember Lundberg. Any other questions for the chief? Call the roll, please.
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Gushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes.
Zilka,
Yes.
Hurkak.
Yes.
Carries.
Item 2, appoint Brent Ambuel, Brian Flav, Scott McKissick, and Andrew Bach, paid on-call fire captains. Accept and appoint. What is the wish of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Knopfler, second by Councilmember Storley. Call the roll, please.
All right, with that, Hanson,
Yes.
Gushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes.
Zilka,
Yes.
Hurkak,
Yes?
Storley,
Yes.
carries.
The next agenda item is City of Little Falls employee request for extended leave of absence. I think Michaela's going to give us some additional background information.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I submitted a non-public correspondence and attachment to you guys providing background on this and a recommendation. Specifically, city staff is requesting that the city council approve a motion that approves an extended leave of absence under the City of Little Falls personnel policy and the procedure handbook through September 15th of 2020 for an employee that staff be authorized to take any action and make any communications to administer this leave of absence. I did speak with the employee about the agenda item, and the employee stated that they did not desire to participate in this meeting. Due to data privacy issues, I have nothing further to state for my introduction, but I will answer any questions that you have.
Members, we will now make our determination on this request by a city employee for an extended leave of absence under the City of Little Falls Personnel Policy and Procedure Handbook. You should be cognizant that under Minnesota Open Meeting Law, you may discuss this matter because it is within the scope of your authority, but only to the extent you determine the discussion is reasonably necessary to make your determination on this issue. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I have one thing, in regards to the health, provision, healthcare provision. If the said employee, apparently, are we voting on that too, or is this just on extension?
I believe we have, go ahead, Michaela.
This is on both the extension and the health information that was included in the information that was sent out.
Mr. President,
Yes?
I have a question here as it regards to the healthcare angle on this too. And I just want to make sure we're not leaving somebody without coverage. As I read what's going on here because of COVID-19 response, I don't know what this individual could do different, and I don't think it'd be right if we're leaving this individual hanging without continued healthcare coverage. Particularly if the intent is to, rehab and assume normal duties.
So I can give you some clarification on that. Under COBRA guidance, the employee would not lose the healthcare coverage. The question would be really who is paying the premium. So for full-time employees, the employer who are currently working, the employer does contribute a cost to the health insurance premium. After the 12 weeks of leave, that is when COBRA would take effect. And under COBRA guidance, an employee would continue health insurance under that guidance.
Does that mean out of their own pocket?
Correct, and that is how COBRA works, is that the employee would pay for the health plan the full premium. So they would pay the employee portion that they typically pay and the employer portion.
And I know it was, in the past anyway, can you shed any light on the rates? I know at one time, I mean, it's been 17 years since I transitioned to job and I had a Cobra option back then. And so almost 2 decades ago, the cost of that Cobra coverage would be incredibly onerous. In fact, I bought a private healthcare policy for a stopgap that was better than Cobra.
Mm-hmm. Cobra is very expensive. It would be, the city premium and the employee premium would be almost $2,000 a month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, if I understand correctly, we are being asked to continue the city's portion of the coverage until the person is back, and the employee would pay his portion of the premium as he always has. Is that correct?
So what I'm asking is to approve a motion to extend the leave of absence and follow the personnel policies and procedures through the employee handbook for this employee.
But to answer the question, he would have to either go under the private market and find another policy, or he would have to pay the Cobra rates, correct?
Correct.
Just for this additional length of time, if I read it correctly.
Yes.
That's per our policy.
Correct.
Mr. President, I would feel a lot better if we could do that individually instead of lumping it all into one vote.
So we're gonna,
That would be changing our personnel policy and procedure handbook, though. That's
So what do we have for delayed treatment due to COVID-19 in our policy handbook?
Good point. We made exceptions for everything because of COVID-19. I mean, just across the board, the whole nation has made exceptions for everything because of COVID-19.
Mr. President, I have a question. Is our attorney or a representative of them here within our meeting? Because I'd like to know if there's been any legal things passed through this COVID-19 stuff that protects an employee under something like this.
Yes, Councilmember, Mayor, this is Alyssa Harrington, I'm here. I am not the labor attorney who wrote the memo, but I can speak to that. Generally speaking, with COVID, there have been some changes made to leave policies, but they all run out at a certain point. So they do not address what happens in a extended situation or in a situation, and by that I just mean a longer leave situation, nor do they dismantle the COBRA program, nor do they make it so that you would have a de facto reason to go against your policy. That being said, generally speaking, and I know my colleagues have, I believe, laid this out in the memo, but the concern is generally with precedent in taking these types of actions. Of course, as you're pointing out, this is not necessarily a similar fact situation that you're going to run into again.
President. I'd like to ask another question. If this were to lead into a grievance procedure and we end up going to arbitration, what is the cost difference between what it would cost to arbitrate this issue compared to if we just let them continue on with the medical premiums that they currently have with the city and so forth and so on?
Councilman Storley and Council Mayor, I am having to make up, having to quickly estimate in my head here the numbers. And as they say, if lawyers were good at math, we would be engineers. So give me a second here to figure out what it would be. Generally speaking, if it was an arbitration, it's going to depend on how far you take the arbitration out. Certainly, it could quickly add up to the cost of the premium, of the city portion of the premium.
So,
for 3 months.
yeah, may I, Council President?
Yes, please.
So we have procedures for our grievances as well, so before they even get to an arbitration. So you can't just file a grievance and it automatically goes to arbitration. We would hear the grievance, we would have a conversation about it, we can make a decision on it at that time. So what we're presenting is everything within our policy as it currently stands. We are not presenting something that is an exception to the rule, created to, benefit an employee or disadvantage of an employee. It is strictly what the procedures that we have in place to provide for this request in this situation. So the expectation with, family medical leave, having job protection rights, the time spent on, for an employee that's away, the extension that we're offering is within the reasonable expectation for their rehab and recovery from the medical issue. We want the employee to get back to work. And the way that these insurance things are structured are incentivizing employees to get to work so that they can resume their benefits at the full capacity. So just to answer the question on the health insurance side, we specifically pay for employees that have family coverage. We provide $1,595 per month from the employer side of that contribution. So however many months beyond their time where their benefits would be exhausted because they no longer are because of our policies are receiving full benefits, that would be how much per month we would, if you were to choose to do that we would be contributing towards their health insurance.
And this is a month-and-a-half extension, correct?
I don't know the dates when the leave benefits run out, Michaela.
Yes, as of right now, it would be through September 15th.
Mr. President,
Yes?
if I could, and also, is that the message we want to get out that, okay, we won't fight anything in arbitration, we'll just give it up because we don't want to pay our attorneys because it might cost more? That would not only set bad precedent, but potentially open a floodgate.
Mr. President, here's the problem I see in this. If we vote yes on this, then we're voting that employee has to pay, either find a different insurance policy or go to program. If we vote no, then we're denying them an extension on medical leave. That's why I wish we could do something and vote on these separately, because either way I vote on this, it's going against one or the other that I would want to do.
We're setting it up to follow our policy and procedure.
And I'll state again, Mr. President, that everything is different here. And I just read the email again from the union. I'm following the timeline. And he's running out of FMLA through no fault of his own. A surgery was canceled and then rescheduled because all of this is going on. And this is kind of common knowledge out here about procedures determined elective were all canceled. I'm just worried that we're doing the right thing by the employee here. I, for one, I'm not worried about a whole lot of precedents going against our handbook. I see this, eventually this pandemic is going to end. It will happen. I know it doesn't look like it right now, and we're not going to be operating in a statewide emergency here at some point, and then at that point, we go back to our handbook. But I just don't know how we stick this guy with COBRA when I don't see that there was anything he could have done differently.
Is there a way that, Mr. President, we could write this or pass this that more or less states that due to the COVID-19 situation, it's a one-time thing, some way to prevent possibly setting a precedent and still sticking with our policies?
Don't know, but I don't think doing that would be sticking with our policies. I think we're already approving something beyond what's in our policy to his benefit because it wasn't his fault that things were canceled.
Mr. President and Council, if I may speak on that shortly.
Yes.
Councilmember Nafla and Council, one of the issues with it is that precedent in labor law doesn't only come up from when you're trying to set it, but also what your practices are. Unfortunately, there are a lot of employers who attempt to say we're not doing something for precedent purposes, but that becomes their practice. And so the way labor law has developed is to say that you look at the practice, not what someone says is the precedent. And so unfortunately, those types of limits don't work very well in labor law.
Thank you.
Mr. President, and yes, I've been through arbitration like this before, and when something is done under a special circumstance, it doesn't necessarily and very seldom becomes a precedent, because exactly as what I believe that was Alyssa was stating, that you, in order to become a practice, you have to show that you've done it more than one time. So unless we've done this before, which I don't recall, I don't think we would be setting ourselves up for a precedent.
Thank you, but I'm going to go with what our lawyer said.
And our HR person. That's why we have them both.
I guess we're to the point that I will entertain a motion that the City of Little Falls City Council approve an extended leave of absence for park maintenance worker Daniel Kaczynski through September 15th, 2020, under City of Little Falls Personnel Policy and Procedure Handbook, extended leave of absence policy, and that city staff is authorized to take any action and make any communications to administer this leave of absence.
Mr. President, are we recording this right now?
We're live. It's being recorded and it's streaming.
Was there a violation right there by announcing the person's name and everything?
That was the thing that our lawyer gave me to read.
Council, Mr. President, there was no violation because it was required in order to conduct the business that you're about to undergo. And so it is appropriate to use the name in this one instance.
Okay, I was just asking, I didn't know.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mayor Zilka, second by Councilmember Goshek. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Bushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Wilchelgren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes.
Zilka,
Yes.
Burkhak,
Yes?
Storley,
No.
Hanson,
Yes.
carries.
Petition for stop sign received. Greg?
Evening, this evening we have a petition for a stop sign on 12th Street Southwest, so this evening we are asking the council to receive that, and then we will review it and bring back a recommendation at a future meeting.
What is the wish of the council?
Council President, I move to receive this petition to put in a couple of stop signs.
Second?
When we receive it, do we need to vote on it, or do we just receive it?
Do need to vote, please.
Motion by Councilmember Lundberg, second by Councilmember Storley. Call the roll, please.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes.
Zilka,
Yes.
Burkhak,
Yes.
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Gushik,
Yes.
carries.
Resolution 2020-46, approved plans and specifications, public improvement 383, Block 6, Country Club Edition. Adopt. Greg?
Good evening. If you recall at our last meeting, we had a public hearing for Esther Place, which is the one that we're talking about here, Block 6 of Country Club Addiction. We do have the plans and specs completed, and the plan is to complete that project with day labor, which is our own staff. And so we are asking the council to approve the plans and specs with resolution 2020-46.
What is the wish of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-46.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Goshek, second by Councilmember Lundberg. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, was this the one that we voted, that we had some people talking on our last meeting? Because if it is, I see $175,000 price tag on this one, when I thought last meeting, that price tag was like $66,000.
If I may, so yes, this is the same project. It's a $66,000 estimate is still the accurate estimate. The 175 is what's in state statute. That's the limit that you can have for day labor forces. So if there was a project that was more than that, we wouldn't be able to do it with our own forces. We would have to bid that out. But because it's under the 175, we are able to do it with our staff. And that's why the 175 is in there. It's standard language that League of Minnesota City has for resolution. So we don't expect it to be anywhere close to that, but that language came right from there.
Okay, thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Lundberg,
Yes.
Zilka,
Yes.
Burkhak,
Yes?
Storley,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Gushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
carries.
City council reports on city authorities, boards, bureaus, commissions, and committees. Anyone have anything?
Mr. President, I would just speak briefly regarding EDA, which, of course, you were a part of. That I believe we're at 62 businesses now, small businesses in Little Falls that have taken the loan grant out. So I think we're doing a lot to help out our local small businesses. And I would say that that will close, this opportunity will close, I believe, on the 29th of this month. At 5 o'clock will be the last time we'll take applications. Correct, Lori?
Was it 4?
4:30,
4, okay,
but
4:30,
the 29th
that's
at 4:30, yes,
it. I keep forgetting that change. Thanks, Lori.
yes.
Any other announcement?
We had, concerning the Camp Ripley Veteran State Trail, even though COVID it seems to have put a halt to everything, got some good news that on the north end of Camp Ripley, we got some land through Sentinel Landscape, and it looks like we'll be able to put that loop in. They're engineering the west side County's gonna take care of a lot of costs there, which will help the trail. Plus, we got the okay from 2 townships and the county to come into Little Falls from the south side. We're waiting on bonding. We were moved up in the bonding, and if it goes through tonight, we will have some money to do some stuff. If it doesn't, it's gonna delay us a bit, so that's the report from there.
There are no other announcements. We will adjourn our meeting at 8:06. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, have a good evening.